Yo, what is going on, and welcome to another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, part of the Believe Network. I'm Ramsey Abushala, editor of urbanpitch.com. Julio Monterosa, Bridget Flores in the building. What's going on, y'all?
What is going on? We in here.
I'm back to being on our space. I feel like we haven't been here in a while.
I was gonna say, I said the same thing. I forgot the passcode to get in here, it took me a second to remember. But yeah, we were in an alternate studio last week, and then we had a week off before that. So it's been like a month. Maybe since we've been here. We are matching low-key for the second straight episode. This time it is accidental, but we got the neutral tones working here.
Same shoes, like
yeah. We're rocking. We got the Pumas on. Shout out to Puma.
Shout out to Pumas
for sending us the kicks, keeping us fitted. But it's been, the summer
We've wrapped up.
Yeah. But the summer of footy has been kind of like coming to an end. It seems like we still have the Olympics. We still have, obviously MLS and NWSL and Liga MX is just started back up. Mm-hmm. So there's still plenty of footy to go around this summer, but it seems like the peak has been. We're on the backside of it now, which is crazy. It flew by. We're already halfway through July. It's wild, but. We had a wild weekend of finishes.
Wild.
I feel like the last couple of weeks leading up to the final for both Euro and Copa America I felt like I was like drowning in just so much like soccer, which I loved, but it was just like, it was hard to keep up. Liga MX at the same time started. There's just
America
so much,
fan.
Big time America fan.
Yeah, so there's just like so much to keep up with, but obviously Euros and Copa America were getting more and more intense. So, and man, that weekend was some weekend. I'll say that.
Tired.
We were doing our job. We were both doing our executive director of Vibes, so we had to spread out. He went to one side
Miami.
of the city. I went to the other side of the city.
All I know
is we reported back.
Yeah. I had a long weekend for other reasons last weekend, but I just remember Sunday morning looking at my Instagram story and then seeing some kind of liquid being poured off of a balcony, and Bridget on the receiving end of it. Like, that was crazy. Like, was it tequila, rum?
Was guaro. That was aguardiente. That's what Colombians drink.
Okay.
That's their drink.
Yeah.
So, my cousins have Colombian. We met up. We were all hanging out. I was trying to get into the building, and she was like, "Oh, catch it!" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And then we just kicked off from there. Not a drop to spare. I caught it all.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's
wild.
Amazing.
I mean, hey, that's a great way to be received. I felt open arms, very welcomed. Yeah. The car stopped and watched. It was the whole thing.
Put it on a show.
Yeah.
Put it on a show. It was a whole thing.
We gotta live stream that next time.
Yeah.
But moving. I mean, obviously the celebrations were great. I had a good time watching the games, but for the fans,
both were intense.
Both finals were really good from start to
Yeah.
finish. But for the fans in attendance, particularly for the Copa America final in Miami, that was
chaos.
That was chaos.
Madness.
I'm so happy I got into my suite.
Yeah.
I was able to be there. Take a whole red eye.
You avoided the whole chaos.
He had the private escort into
Yeah.
He missed that whole stuff. Yeah.
Like we say in Spanish, el que puede, puede. No, but it was crazy. Like it was crazy just seeing like people going into events. People that paid $15,000 for their tickets couldn't get in.
Right.
Couldn't get in. Like it was chaos. But who do you guys think is at fault for that though? Because we've had F1 Super Bowls, different events. They're going there. What was different from this event to that event?
Today's episode has been brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is your #1 source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball to golf to soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online, the game starts here. I don't think who matters, whether it's CONMEBOL, whether it's CONCACAF, whether it's, the security at the stadium, whether it's U.S. Soccer, whether it's whoever, I don't think it necessarily matters who is to blame. I think it's clear that there was just a lack of preparation throughout the tournament. I mean, you take a look at the
Emily's getting hurt.
Yeah. I mean, even before the final, the pitch conditions. I mean, they're like the pitches were overlaid with turf.
Yeah.
The turf fields, the synthetic turf fields, were overlaid with natural grass.
So
3 days before the games were started. That's no time for the grass to set in. You had uniform pitch dimensions, which made it super tight on the corners at some fields. Like, there's no room to run up to take a corner. The refereeing was super hit and miss. Even in that, especially in the U.S. Uruguay game. And then you have this. I mean, even before this, you have Darwin Nunez going into the stands to protect his family because they didn't have the foresight to separate fan groups and put families of players in suites, which is, I feel like, the normal case.
No, because even though going to LAFC games, the employees have one section, and then family members have their own section that they can go in, or not even LAFC, just like.
But I think even
teams.
then, like, if I had a family member who's who's a professional soccer player or sports player, like, I would want to be up at front and center watching them. Like, the suite is great.
I get that, but from a security standpoint, fans are insane. Fans are crazy, and if they know, like, especially if you're a high profile player,
it should have only been like family.
Right, exactly. A family only section that is not accessible to other fans who might want to throw stuff or say stuff.
Right.
To the point where you have players who feel like their families are unsafe.
Yeah. There was a lot of people a lot of U.S. men's national team players, old players, are like, when we had a World Cup, there's never been like a special section for family members. They're always just in the stands, sprinkled around. So I just believe that it was not even that. I think it was just the lack of preparation, the lack of securities. It was they didn't know, they didn't expect your U.S. fans to be this passionate about a sport.
I don't think it was taken into consideration the amount of Argentinian fans and South American fans in Miami, especially like Colombians. There's so many. Yeah. And even if you're not, like, if you're Latino, like, you want to be at that game. Yeah. So people are going to find a way to get there.
And I mean, you take a look at games in South America, like, let's say in Argentina, for Boca River. There's military presence at that game. They have security at the highest measures for those games.
Yes.
And I think the organizers thought, okay, we don't have to take this as seriously, which doesn't make sense because the Copa America is a bit like a higher priority when
people
it comes
travel
to the league.
Watch these games, yeah.
And they thought, okay, you know what? It's in the U.S. Like, we can just have a standard security there. Like this is an NFL game, or just a friendly, like, that doesn't really have any repercussions. Dude, this is a final with two national rivals.
Huge.
Like rivals,
Yeah.
like rival fans. You have some of the biggest players in the world that are on the field. Fans are like, there needs to be like a lot more planning when it comes to this stuff. And then you saw, like, they were just letting people in. At some point, people from there's like a report. I think someone from The Athletic was saying that they weren't even checking tickets at one point because it was just too overwhelming. They were just letting people in.
Yeah.
You have people climbing up through the vents. Like, tactical manager was posting about that. Like, it's embarrassing. It was a bad look for the tournament in general, and I don't think that should fall on the U.S. because the U.S. like, we've put on big tournaments, especially in soccer as well before, both in and outside of soccer, right? And there hasn't been stuff like this. So I think this going into 2026 needs to be a wake-up call. It needs to be a slap in the face to whoever it was that was putting this together and be like, okay, we need to be way more prepared because in 2026 it's going to be 5 times, 10 times more crazy than this. Yeah,
but I think it was just crazy from like top to like the bottom. Even the vice president of the CONMEBOL / Colombian, president of Colombia's Federation, like him and his son got arrested. Like, and it goes back to security going like, hey, like, no, we're overwhelmed. I don't know if those passes are real anymore. Like, you can't go down. Like, and they're like, what do you mean I can't go down? Like, I run it. I kind of run all this shit. Yeah. So it just got crazy. So it just shows like how badly it was, even if for a vice president / president to fight security guards. Yeah. Like, it just shows like it was just a show.
Yeah. You saw that when the Raptors won the NBA championship. Masai Ujiri, who the owner of Toronto. No, the owner, the GM of Toronto.
Oh yes.
He got in a scuffle with security. He was trying to get on the court after they won, and the security was like, "Yo, man, like I don't know who you are. Back up." And like he's the GM, so that's happened before. Euro 2021, it's happened. Like the fans were going crazy. They were rioting. They left the stadium trashed. So this happens at like big events where people get riled up, people get a little and then mob mentality. Everybody, just bedlam erupts from stuff like events like this. And from a preparation standpoint, like you just need to be better. And I think. Whether it's the refereeing, the pitch quality, security, all the measures that go into putting together a high quality tournament, you could say that this was a success in terms of viewership, in terms of a lot of people watched it on TV. Messi won his 3rd straight major trophy, but I think if you zoom out and you look at the logistics of things, I don't think you could say that it was a successful tournament.
And definitely, just to circle back on people just letting people in. If I'm just an event, because most of the security are just hired for these events. Right. If I'm seeing like this going on, like I'm like hell no, like
it's beyond my pay grade.
$17 an hour is not worth it. Right. Go watch a game, enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Like I'm letting you in too. I'm like
because then at that point you're putting yourself at risk for what? You're gonna get hurt. Yeah. I mean, you're still gonna get your money. You're there. Like, what can you say? They trampled me. Like, what am I supposed to do about that?
Right.
I think that it's unfortunate that this happened because there was people's lives at risk. There was a lot of damage that was done. There was kids that could be traumatized by something like this because we already know that there's so much already happening in the world. I think overall, I hope that it's a huge learning lesson for anyone involved in creating and setting up events like this. But I think more than anything, this is like a huge opportunity to really like take it in and learn on how to be better and be more prepared for 2026. Because if the World Cup is coming out here, I think that this is an opportunity for everyone who's hosting, right? Like, what is it? Not just Miami, but it's Kansas City. I think we even have a game.
Los Angeles, Toronto, Mexico City.
Everybody needs to kind of like use this to be like, okay, what can we do so that doesn't happen? Because it's possible that it'll happen again. And how are we going to prepare for that?
Yeah, if anything, I'm just going to wait in front door just in case.
I'm going to get there early. I'm going to be in Mexico City. I'm manifesting it right now. We're going to be in there.
Julio said, I'm not down unless.
But if I see like the crowd separate and I see one security like just go in, I'm like, you sure? You sure?
It's just
I don't want to do it, but if you're not gonna stop me, I might go in.
It's because as soon as one person does something, everybody follows, and it's just like madness, man. Like, how do the elevators get so messed up?
For real, no rail,
none.
It looked bad.
People are
people were crawling through the vents like they're diehard, man. Like that's
man.
Wild.
Like hey, really, where are you gonna go?
Why is the AC not working? Colombians watching the game.
Oh my god!
If y'all gonna be there, just start blowing
some of the memes though that I've seen up for like I'm just like, people are the internet is crazy, man.
Exactly.
It's. I mean, I think it's almost good that it happened, and there's no like deaths or no like from what we've heard so far. There's nothing like incredibly serious in terms of like people dying or so. It's a lesson to be learned without like the worst possible outcome happening. This was like as close to worst case scenario as you could get.
Definitely.
Without,
where we were at watching it,
major tragedy.
I think the biggest thing was that because of the amount of delay, people just started drinking way more.
And I mean, it was hot. Like,
let me not say, but it was eventful.
Yeah, even on my side, like.
Right? Like, what are you supposed to do? You're watching. It's hot as heck outside.
Luckily, I was inside, but like. I was like, we're just gonna start with one beer. I'm gonna keep it clean. Like, we just had a eventful morning, and then like next thing you know, like before the game, I'm already 3 shots in, 2 beers in. Like, and not even
waiting.
And not even the small ones, because they're like, you want the 8 ounce or the 22? At that point, what do you say? 22.
It's delayed till further notice.
Yeah. So I'm like,
two shots until further notice.
We might have some people get a little concerned for us after this because I think like a third of our conversation so far about this final has been about consuming of beverages. So
no, the thing is like
the environments though.
Yeah,
I think more than
right.
anything, you know what made me really happy was the fact that there were so many options to go to places to watch the game, which was super dope.
Because we were deprived in this freaking Winter World Cup 2022.
Yeah, we were. We really were.
This gives me like hope that for like summer, like it's gonna be full soccer mode, full like World Cup mode, like viewing parties, places to go play soccer. I was seeing people play soccer in the streets just like before because they couldn't get into a bar. Like it was just like amazing vibes.
Yeah.
And that's cool because I don't think Copa America, like if you ask the average American sports fan, like, hey, are you excited about Copa America? Like, what? You know, like it hasn't really, and we talked about this in previous episodes about, you know, it hasn't really like seeped into like the mainstream sports. But where I was watching at a restaurant. And the entire restaurant was dialed in, like to the extra time, like was going on. Like it felt like everything kind of got quiet. There's a bunch of TVs around, and Lautaro Martinez scored the goal, and people were going crazy. And like to me, that's really cool to see because I bet you the majority of people at that restaurant, it wasn't like this. They were coming here to watch the game. It wasn't like a watch party was being advertised. So. I don't think a lot of them would have been watching had it not been there, and hopefully, some people saw that moment or saw the game and maybe took a little bit more interest and be like, yo, like they know, because I feel like the World Cup coming to the U.S. is well known amongst like all sports fans. People that pay attention to sports know that 2026 the U.S. is going to host the World Cup. So I think we talk about like the players that are like this golden generation or whatever you want to call it. Is going to be prepared for 2026. Like the fans, I think, are also going to be prepared for 2026 as well.
No, definitely. And I can remember like the first like World Cup that I've been watching World Cups for a while, but like the first one I can remember is going to Manhattan Beach to watch Portugal USA. When the U.S. tied that I think it was Jermaine Jones scored that banger.
Was that 2014?
2014.
Yeah.
So I remember being in Manhattan Beach, seeing that World Cup. It was an early game. And then right after, going straight to the beach to play soccer in the sand, like against random people from different countries, and it was just amazing. So I could only hope that it goes to that energy. I think LA Galaxy threw that viewing party or something, but like
they do those in the South Bay a bunch. Yeah,
they do that in the South Bay a lot. They run that side. So like,
slight.
So, but like the thing is like it was just amazing. Like. Just seeing people, like not even soccer fans, seeing basketball guys like run with two left legs, it was amazing. Like I feel like every basketball player that plays soccer, they have that little like knees going a little bit. So like it's just amazing seeing all the different crowds, just having fun with each other, just being close to being family. Like just like, oh, you got a ball, 2 shirts, let's play some soccer. So that's always amazing.
Yeah. So I'm excited that From a preparation perspective, the preparedness, I think they're going to be more ready to go because that's going to be now that it's all in the U.S., right? Because that was CONMEBOL. This is a South American tournament, right? Now that it's going to be a North American tournament, strictly North American, Canada, U.S., Mexico. Like that's North America putting together this entire tournament. I think they're going to try their best, and we've seen it in Qatar, we've seen it in Russia, where countries that kind of have like, and not to say that North America has like a like nefarious reputation, but these countries are trying to use this as an opportunity to bolster their image around the world. Call it whatever you want, but I think Canada, U.S. and Mexico are going to try to do that to the max. And I hope that it's done in a way that celebrates the game and celebrates the fans and all that without kind of going overboard into some of the stuff that we've seen elsewhere. But I'm excited. I'm hoping that this does serve as a wake-up call and that we can improve, only go up. But what do you guys think about we talked about the lead up to it. What about the aftermath? Because we've seen a lot of stuff coming out with Argentina celebrations that have garnered headlines. You know, Enzo Fernandez with his Instagram live on the team bus with the players doing the chants about the French national team. That has really ruffled a lot of feathers across the world of soccer. A lot of Enzo has kind of gotten the brunt of the criticism because he's the one that broadcasted, but the entire team was singing that song about the French national team not really being French and how they, you know, their passports say they're from Angola or from Africa. They benefit from all the African players, that African heritage that they have, which is something that's been going on in terms of the French national team and their image for years. A lot of fans have really gone back and forth with their support based on the French national team's, you know, makeup, right? So, what do you guys think about this? And it's just really unfortunate to see something like this happen, like again and again and again throughout. Because this dates back to 2022 when fans were the final Argentina-France at the World Cup, where fans were chanting that, and to kind of continue this now when they're not even playing France, like France is not even, you know, in the picture.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. But what are you guys' thoughts?
I think it's unfortunate. I think that for Argentina to be where they're at now, the fact that they won, like they're already at the top, like they're already proving that they are that team. And I think that with so much of that comes a lot of responsibility to uphold certain expectations and standards for the people that are looking at you, for the younger generation, for the future generation, for the ones that want to be in your place. And like, not only does that mean like you have to show up and be an example as a footballer, but you have to show up and be an example as a human being. And when you're content with like putting a song that you know has racism or like discrimination towards other people, like I think you should, there's no like room for a mistake like that, especially when you're celebrating. Like, why not have you just beat Colombia? Why didn't you play the Colombian anthem that has been going on throughout the whole tournament? That would have been like a big burn. Yeah. Like, one, it's a great song, it's a banger. Like, I've been playing it even after the game finished. Like, we were still playing that song, but you could have done that. Celebrate and like, you know, throw it back and just like be funny a little bit about it, you know. But it's just like they took it to a level of like disrespect that is unwarranted, and France isn't even a part of it. What are you doing? Like, what is that?
Is like, but it's not sugarcoat. Like, chants from different parts of the world are not picking topics like to hurt the players, to hurt, like, to say the most disrespectful things. You heard it in the EPL, you heard it in Italy, you heard it in France, you heard it everywhere. But like sometimes you just gotta know to think that don't go on live, like, especially if you're singing chants, because whether we wanna be like, oh no, like it's gonna happen. It's gonna keep on happening just because the soccer brings the worst out of soccer fans. Chants, anything you can think of, but it goes back to like Enzo, like do better, like think better, like at that moment let the team, like, I feel like the song should never been sung, but like live in the moment, like share the championship with your teammates opposed to going live. There's nothing, why share it with people when like we didn't help you win that game. It was a team that did all the winning there. So like, stop going on live, bro. Like,
damn, that's crazy.
I don't know. No, like I think they have to own up to it more than just saying like sorry.
Not only
because
Enzo,
even and I'm not just saying Enzo, but
right.
but even after that, like he kind of like chuckled at it, or he wasn't very honest about his
he issued
apology.
an apology, but it didn't read to me like something. It was just like, damn, we got caught.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was one of those, and I mean, I don't know. Like it's just really unfortunate that we continue to see this, and it's going to be forgotten in 2 months because something else is going to happen.
But back to Bridges' point, like there was no reason to sing about France. Like,
there's like
no reason.
A whole playlist of songs you could have gone crazy for, like Meek Mill's, like you could have done. But I'm just saying, like that could have been a random song to pop off to, but.
how creative Argentinian fans are with like making these chants,
Yeah.
muchachos, like all these different ones they have for Argentina, like brasileño dime cómo se siente, like they have all these great like chants, just like Richard said, like the Colombian song, that it's a banger, just put a little Argentinian twist to it.
Yeah.
Like you guys are great at that.
I don't know, something.
Yeah, and then just don't live stream it. How about
Don't
that?
live stream
like,
it.
You already know that it's like kind of a wild chant to be singing, and then you're what? Like to me that just it screams like just not ignorance, but just like you're not thinking. You're not thinking. Like
first of all, never go live while you're drinking. That's like the rule of the day for me right now.
Yeah,
like,
you broke that a few times.
I have not. I shouldn't.
He's like, wait, hold on.
I'm guilty. No, but like, because like literally, like at that point, like you're not making the best decisions. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and why show the mistakes to the public?
Right.
Like, but like
Enzo's gonna have some explaining to do when he gets to
Enzo,
Chelsea.
like you should go like.
What do you all think was gonna happen there? Like, do you think that Chelsea should hold him?
Chelsea won't sell him because they paid $100 million for him.
Yeah, they need to.
But they have to hold him accountable in some way.
They need to have an internal discussion and have him do something like do it within themselves, because he's gonna have to deal with his teammates. He's gonna have to deal with the people in the organization,
the supporters of the team.
Right, exactly.
Practices,
and you know they're not gonna let them
exactly.
down.
So
they're not gonna let them down easy.
And Chelsea has not been run very well over the last couple of years, so I don't know if they're gonna do it, but they need to kind of address it. Make note of it, and then like resolve it as quickly and as straightforward as possible.
Especially with your teammates, you gotta face it. You gotta
Especially
face it
if they
first.
called it out.
They unfollowed you. Like you have to face it, because then practices are not gonna be fun.
Nope.
And then whatever you have to do is gonna be a little bit of growing pains, but you're gonna have to make it right by them, because at the end of the day, they were not there. You did it against a team that was not even playing CONMEBOL.
Yeah.
Just out of their way, just completely out of the way.
I think that's the other issue of it here, is that we see the black players once again having to take the weight of holding their player accountable for these racist comments. And it's like, why isn't anyone else supporting that? Why isn't anyone else doing the talking, making this, like creating awareness to the fact that this should not be happening, and that there should be consequences being put into this? Like, why does it have to be the players, specifically the black players from Chelsea, to have to say something?
Yeah, and then the France Federation put out a statement condemning it as well. So I think that helped. A lot of French players have, made a lot of statements about it too. So yeah, do better, be better.
Yeah, be better. But going back to the French side, even Zidane has said it.
Yeah,
before.
yeah. I mean, the France national team has a long history of having African heritage. Whether it's Zidane, being from Algeria, Thierry Henry, a lot of these players, and it's been a long, quote unquote joke saying that the France team could be all playing for their African nations instead.
Yeah.
And Zidane said, when we win, we're French. When we lose, we're African. And it's been a long, ongoing thing for years, and it just sucks to see it continuing now. But I think it'll only continue, and people just have to understand it a little bit more, and just like Julio said, be better.
Be better.
Yeah. All right, let's jump over to the U.S. men's national team. There's been a lot of developing news with the whole manager system. Julio, you seem very excited. Let's talk about
First of all, Greg is out.
We talked about this last episode. Yeah. But let's talk about the developing stuff
why are you so
of the people.
now?
Yeah, because a lot of the rumors are coming out is not American coaches anymore. It's a lot of proven Europeans. Who was it? Taylor Twelman. I hate when he talks. I'm just the biggest hater. But he said,
took your brownies.
Yeah, he took my brownies ever since that's beef from now on. But he said Patrick Vieira.
Patrick Vieira is becoming a very heated target. We talked about it last episode.
And he just ended contract with the current team that he's with,
Strasbourg.
Yeah, so he said it. This is not only a player that has won in Europe, but when he walks into a room, he's a player that people respect. Like, just because of his trajectory, like the way he thinks, that he's not scared to call you out as a player. So even if it's not him, like if it's another coach of his caliber, which is a lot of rumors coming out from different European coaches, it's just good. It's gonna be great to like have a different voice in that locker room. Somebody that did not see these kids growing up as kids, like because at the end of the day, if you see a kid grow up, you're still, whether you like it or not, you're gonna see him as a kid.
There's bias.
There's a little bias there. Bias there.
Or your friends' kids.
Yeah, exactly. Even Greg knew Gio since he was a baby.
Right.
So now you have somebody that's like, no, I see you as an adult, I see you as an equal, and I'm gonna call you out on the bull.
Yeah.
Puts more intensity. That Uruguay game, Uruguay was throwing their bodies on the line to stop goals, and
there's a lack of intensity.
And you guys were just like,
yeah,
I played great, but like, act like you want to win. Act like you're that golden generation that everybody brings you up to be. Act like you're the next coming to Jesus in this country for soccer. Like, just show them what you're worth. All that hype, like I'm playing Juventus, I played Chelsea, AC Milan. No, like that's all great. That was great when you guys were 17, 18, 20. Now you guys are 24, 25, and everybody talks about winning a World Cup. And this team does not look like it can win the World Cup. Yeah. So this change, hopefully, is for the better.
Yeah, and I mean, so Gareth Southgate and Patrick Vieira seem to be like the two kind of targets. I think
not Southgate though.
Yeah, so I mean, but
no, he is an option. But
Vieira. To your point, Julio, last week you said your ideal candidate has
a bit of World Cup
experience. Whether as a player or coach, has experience in Europe, as a player or coach, and MLS experience. And Vieira, I think, is one of the very few people who can checklist those.
Yeah, Thierry Henry's right now with the French Olympic team.
Thierry Henry, like,
we need him on TV.
Yeah, I want Thierry to be on TV. I love watching his Champions League coverage. Him and Kate Abdo. I mean, will they? Won't they? You know, that kind of stuff. But yeah, he's another one that fits that criteria. But I think Vieira, like from a player standpoint, he was a guy that like was very like he instilled fear in whoever he was. You know, he was
an intense guy.
Intense. Like he was up there, led the league in yellow cards every year. I mean, regardless of who it was he was playing for. And he doesn't have like the greatest coaching resume yet, but I feel like he is coached at, Crystal Palace. He's coached at Strasbourg. He's coached, NYCFC. And he has enough like chops now to where I think he can, it would be interesting to see. Southgate, on the other hand, he received a lot of criticism for the way he played with the players that he had. Mm-hmm. But if you look at kind of like Greg, right? Greg did pretty well if you look at it from a results standpoint. If you didn't look at it from the way that they played, maybe he wasted some of the potential that they had by playing very conservatively. The same exact criticism Gareth Southgate had. Gareth Southgate took him to two major finals.
He started
World
with
Cup
a team that was like at the bottom.
And they were at a very down point when he came on. I think it was 8 years ago. They got to a World Cup semis in 2018. They played a third place game against Belgium, and they lost to Belgium in 2018. Two back-to-back finals in the Euros. It wasn't the brand of football that I think England fans wanted or maybe needed, but he has proven results. And I think that if he takes his mindset mentality with a very less talented, I mean, there's no comparing the talent between the U.S. I think the U.S. group is very talented, but compared to England is like top 3.
Not very less, though.
Top 3 talents in the world is England. Yeah. We're maybe top 15. It's significant. It's significantly less. Can you say that?
We in the World Cup and we played a game that was basically
we played up. We played out of our minds. Yeah, that was a very tough game.
It didn't show that they were way better than this.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the way that they're coached. They're playing very conservative against a team that they should have been aggressive against, right? Because they're that. I think you take a look at their roster compared to our roster.
No, definitely.
It's significant. The talent level is significant. That I mean, like who is it? They almost lost to Slovakia. You know what I mean? Like that's so you can like soccer is a game, and I think why I love it so much is that on any given day anything can happen. When you play, it doesn't matter who you're lining up against, anything can happen. But over time, the law of averages will set everything straight.
No, definitely. Like Ecuador played out of their mind.
Yeah,
in the
yeah. So over time, if you have the talent, the law of averages will put everything into balance. And I think that's kind of what happened with England. I don't think it would be a horrible fit with the U.S. I don't think it would be horrible. I don't want to see it. I want to see somebody that has a more aggressive style of play, that someone that will be a little bit more fun to watch, because I could not watch England, and it was a pain to see Bukayo Saka playing right back, or Jude Bellingham like having to track back so much when these are players that are brilliant offensive players that need to be put into attacking roles that they really weren't consistently. And I want to see that with the U.S. too, because it's just more fun to watch. Like I'm gonna be real. Like maybe it's not the right type of soccer that we'll be playing, that we need to be playing. Maybe we should be playing a little bit more defensive. Maybe we should be looking to hit on the counterattacks a little bit more. I don't know. It's just more fun objectively to see dynamic players, which we have. Christian Pulisic, Timothy Weah, Folarin Balogun, like Gio Reyna, who, when put in like offensive roles, they're so much fun to watch, and we've seen like flashes of that, even with Greg. Yeah,
that little three right there, McKinney, Gio, and Belushi's going up is just crazy.
Pulisic, yeah.
And having Tyler Adams in the back, just and then fighting everybody.
Tyler Adams, Weston McKennie,
he brings the dynamic.
Being physical, like imposing.
I want 11 Tyler Adams.
Yeah,
like, it can't be Tyler Adams and McKinney.
11 of those, please.
Yeah, no, it can be Tyler Adams starting stuff and McKinney having his back while everybody's just chilling.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like we need everybody to have that Tyler Adams, McKinney intensity. Like those two players should are honestly the soul of the team. I know Pulisic is amazing going up, but like he does get into a little scuffles here and there, but it's not like he's not doing it because like he wants to show intensity. He's just doing it because he can hit a lot.
Yeah.
But
have you seen? I don't know if you've seen. There's a college football coach like way back in the day. It was like something like Eastern Carolina or Coastal Carolina, something
Sounds
like that.
Sounds about right.
He was talking about how he has too many players. They're worried about their wristbands, the wrist tape, how they look, and he said those are some cats. Like I need dogs on my team. I want some dogs. Like, and he started getting into it, and a lot of what he said was kind of wild and kind of out there. But that mentality, like I want to see some dogs on this team.
That's the kind of coach we need for this
or like
team.
a Cholo Simeone coming to coach us.
Now you're getting out there. Like that would be cool, but he's also very like defensive, like a counter. It don't matter, but like
he's about like hit him before they get away.
Yeah.
Like I want that intensity because we have skilled enough players to go up. I just need my back line to be just some dogs.
Yeah. I agree.
We'll see.
So let's. What would you want to see the most out of whoever it is that comes to get the job? Because it's gonna happen. I don't know when, but hopefully soon. What's the one thing that you want them to bring to the team? I know we said we've talked about mentality, we've talked about tactics, we've talked about discipline, we've talked about the standard. What is it that the most important thing that you think that the U.S. men's national team coach needs to bring to the team?
Experience. Just experience. Because I think the talent is there. We're ready to have a real breakout in any of these tournaments. But I just need somebody that guide us in the right way. Greg did a great job, but he can only take him so far. These kids are kids that have experienced the best, played in the best clubs, played in the best tournaments, have won Champions Leagues. So they know what it takes to become a champion. They just need somebody to get them there. So I think it's just experience. Okay. But in my dream will be Vieira or it can go switch back and forth. Vieira and Thierry Henry working. One head coach, one assistant coach. It could be either way though.
Bridge.
I can't specifically name anyone because my heart lies.
I'm talking about like what do you want them to bring?
Right. But I'm saying like I can't specifically name between the two who I would want specifically because my heart. Lies with Mexico. We're also going through
a new coach
change.
Too.
And I think that is just the same thing as what's going on with the U.S. men's national team. They brought in coaches to switch up the game. They did what they could. They didn't succeed, so they kicked them out. And I think respectfully, like that's just how the game goes. I think that for the U.S. men's national team, they have the team. I feel like they have the dynamic. I feel like we have the players that that are necessary to up the game. I just think that it could be the experience, but also like that intensity. I think that they need someone that's gonna like bring that aggressiveness out of them. Yeah. Aside from like the elegance of the play.
Yeah. Yeah. Mentality, I think, is for me, because I just didn't. We haven't seen.
We need a Coach Carter.
Coach Carter. If you're gonna play El Salvador, beat them 30-0.
Yeah. Like, have no mercy.
Yeah, like
if you guys are so good, that people are talking about you've outgrown CONCACAF,
right,
then play like it, man.
Right.
Play like it. Stop losing to Panama.
Make me sad. I want to be sad. Like, why did El Salvador lose 30-0 against the U.S.?
Right.
Like, and I'll be happy for like the U.S. Like, beat a Guatemala, beat a Costa Rica. Like, don't beat them. Like demoralize them. Show them that you guys are those guys that everybody says, these European talents that everybody talks about. Like,
for sure.
Start showing your dominance. Start showing.
Be the example for our other nations.
Show them that your guys are alpha instead of beta.
Because we're getting to the point where it's like potential is not the word we need to be using for these guys, because they're starting to enter their prime, and by 2026 they're going to be in like across the board, these crop of players, golden generation, whatever. That's going to be prime time. It's not young players anymore by 2026. So
no, and then like I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen with the Olympic team.
Yeah,
because some of these kids are like 19, 20 as well. Right. So they'll be at 22, 23, ready to play, be a big factor in this World Cup team. Yeah. So yeah, we have a good crop of players. It's just we need somebody to take us over that hump.
Yeah. For Mexico, did they already name their successor to Jaime Lozano? Not yet.
No.
Not yet. Am I making it up, or did they are they putting him? He's staying on as an assistant.
They gave him two options. I think he either leaves or he becomes the assistant to someone. Yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw that, and to me that's kind of crazy.
That's good though. Like,
I mean, at least they're not like being like, you're out, you're fired.
Yeah.
But I think it's because I think that he brought in a lot of good like experience, tactics. I just don't think he was able to like bring it all together for the team.
Yeah. There's a stretch where people were hyped about him.
No,
right?
there was. The very beginning, I think the first
they're calling him like
couple
Lamborghini,
months,
right?
Yeah. Like everyone was all about Jaime Lozano. Like I was a big fan, and I am, but I just don't think that it worked out. Like I don't think that the dynamic was there enough for him to be able to like gain the trust or the confidence of the team for them to like turn it around. I also do think it's not just on him. I think that the team is going through a lot of the changes that we saw happening with the U.S. men's national team, where we're seeing the younger players get more time, more playing time. We're seeing them develop, going from young players to men, and that is going to take quite a transition time to figure out who they are as a national team.
But I think he did a great improvement. Whether the Mexican fans, they feel like they should be World Cup champions. They should be on the top, even though like
we are.
They're not. So, but like he did something so important to the national team that it probably won't matter this World Cup, but the following World Cup will. Like, got rid of that older generation that had a chokehold on the team. Players couldn't be called up if these players did not. These three players didn't agree on. So now he got rid of that memo that what's his name? The guy
Chucky Lozano.
Not Chucky. It was Memo,
young.
the guy that played in Spain. I forgot his name. But like there was this group of older players that they decided who comes and who doesn't come. So by getting rid of them, it's like now fresh talent's coming in.
Right.
But that is going to be growing pains.
Which is that risk that like he was willing to take for the team. It just obviously wasn't the time for it.
It's going to take time to work out. It's probably going to pay now, but later on in 2 World Cups later, you're going to see that this was the difference.
Yeah. That's going to be tough.
Yeah. Okay, moving on to the club side of things. We're almost at the start of the club season, which is kind of hard to believe with the Euros just ending and the Olympics going on. But Kylian Mbappe was just announced officially announced in front of the Real Madrid fans. A new era, I think, in terms of when you want to talk about Madrid and the Galacticos.
They said like the Galacticos 2.2.
Yeah.
2.0.
Yeah, 2.2. But I mean, like, you see the it didn't really work out the first time with Brazilian Ronaldo, Beckham, Figo. They didn't win a Champions League.
Yeah, the people before them won the championship.
Right, and then once they brought in all the kind of
everybody,
then it didn't really work out. I mean, obviously, since then with Ronaldo, with Bale, with Benzema, with all these big time signings that they've made since, Luka Modric, it has worked out. So I feel like that's another era of the Galacticos.
Yeah,
and so
I'm like 2.2 then.
So maybe 3.0 or 2.1 or
Yeah.
I don't know. Like what do you think? Like you're the Madrid fan here, Julio. What are your thoughts about, is there going to be more pressure on Mbappe now to he has to win everything? Is this going to be truly a new era? Is he going to rise to, because I think a lot of he's not consensus the greatest player in the world. I think a lot of people do believe that he is, but it's not like across the board. It's kind of debatable still. Is it now his time to rise above and become, the undisputed top player in the world?
I think ego might be the only part that might hurt Real Madrid. You have Vinicius. He's in the conversation for best player in the world.
Right.
Rodrigo is making his own argument as well.
Jude Bellingham is
Jude
in there
Bellingham,
as well.
and then you have Kylian Mbappe. So like that front line is crazy. Like if they don't go undefeated, like what is wrong with y'all? Like, you have like probably like out of the top 10 players, you have 5 of those top 10 players in the world just on your front line.
And Jose Lu too.
And Jose
Lu.
Man, I love Jose Lu. Ugly name, but great player. So like, man, he's an amazing player. He should have more time with Spain. But like it just like they are just, it's just star-studded. Like from the back to the front, like it's crazy.
Yeah.
They should be dominating. They should go for another Champions League. They should honestly, they should not lose a cup this year. Like they have that much of a great team. Even their bench like is still stacked. So
what was the year they won 6 trophies in
they have not. It was I think it was Barcelona that 2010 team, was it the one with Thierry Henry on it? Yeah, but I think I don't think they've done it.
I thought Real Madrid recently they won it. Maybe it wasn't because it wasn't a treble.
No. I think it was the last Spain team to do a treble was Barcelona.
Yeah, you're right.
So they should have like the talent to like win every single tournament decisively.
Yeah. Bridge. What about you?
I was just gonna say, I feel like they're stacked, but I think that could also work against their favor because you can assign all the stars, but like, are they gonna have the dynamic that you need to succeed on the field? Are they gonna get along? Like, are they gonna know how to play with each other? Because they're all stars. Like, I think there's also that side of it when you put too many, of like the top players on one team, that there's a big risk of also that hurting them. Yeah. Maybe the first year.
Yeah.
Like it has to be at the end of the day, it's only one ball.
Right.
And these are all players that demand the ball in their feet to create magic. Yeah. So
we could be seeing the start of like a elite team that is just gonna take over.
History,
or just a disaster.
Or just a disaster of like, don't ever put big players together like that because it's gonna
Bridge
burn
looks
down.
a little hopeful that that's gonna happen.
you do need
and
a player to
then
do the
Yamal's
dirty
gonna
work.
go in there and do work.
You do need a dirty work. Like Benzema, like even though like he played amazing, like he honestly did all the dirty work. He would just run into the box and get those goals going, like just hustle players. So, but you have probably the 3 fastest wings in the game right now. Yeah, playing all on one team. Imagine those guys coming down.
Scary hours.
It's like the big green. No more monsters, Larry.
Yeah, with Jude Bellingham feeding him too.
Yeah,
which like,
and then Jude coming from the back, like
hey yo,
no Diddy.
So I do like, to me the more interesting thing to me is how Mbappe is going to fit in terms of like the expectations, because he already had high expectations in Paris and couldn't really get it done in terms of Champions League, and now the expectation is the same, right? But it's not. It's less of a hope and more of a automatic.
Like
now it's like, yes, it's not like, oh my God, it would be amazing if we won the Champions League this year. It's like, we better win the Champions League this year.
Because we just signed you.
Yeah. Because Mbappe has won everything early. He was a World Cup champion in
2018.
Yeah, he was 19 years old.
And he was a factor.
Yeah.
He was a big factor.
Yeah.
So he has won almost everything but a Champions League. And so and a Ballon d'Or. So those are the 2 things that I think are eluding him. And I think he's going to be wanting that. And how is he going to try a little too hard? Kind of like how we might have seen with other players in the past, like, is he just going to let it come to him and let it happen and
just trust the process, because I think if they do that, if they try to force the issue, then I think that's when the problems are gonna arise.
Yeah.
Or because if they just like, they could like not sleepwalk, but just the amount of talent they have, they can coast on that, and they'll be fine.
But I think the coach is a great coach to deal with all this. Ancelotti
Right.
is just the perfect
ego,
players coach. You see him trying to dance with the players. Like, he's relatable, but at the end of the day, like you seen on
Gets the job done.
on Apple TV Plus, they had Real Madrid. Like, and like you see him like as a coach, how he's like, if we do this, we can win. If not, like if you slack off, then we're gonna lose. And if we lose, I'm gonna tell you why, and I'm gonna show you because it was you. Yeah. So like, I think it's a perfect coach for the job. So it's another champion loading.
Okay. All right. Final question. We're running out of time. Julio, how many Champions Leagues does Mbappe win with Madrid?
3 back-to-back.
You say 3 back-to-back, and that's it.
Well, you still got to work on his contract again.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Bridge.
I'm a Barca fan, so I'm a respectfully decline your question. I'm just kidding.
So you say 0?
Yeah.
0. Big 0.
My heart says 0.
Okay, I think
mentally, I think maybe 1.
No, Bridge, you've always gone with your heart, so don't stop now. Stop now.
Listen,
it hasn't worked now.
No.
It will.
Maybe
eventually.
not for other
you gotta
reasons,
stick with it.
but soccer-wise, it's been going well.
Yeah.
Because I stuck with Spain and I said Colombia, and I swear to you that man.
The Colombia didn't work out though.
I know, but they made it all the way to the final undefeated, and they won 28 games straight since like 2021.
Yeah, but you weren't rooting for Colombia since 2021.
I've always been rooting for Colombia.
She has.
My family.
Her cousins have.
I know, but you weren't like rooting for Colombia.
I was
watching you didn't watch all 28 of those unbeaten games.
No,
but you picked them in the cup.
In the Copa America,
the song came out and it was a banger.
Right.
Colombia team. That just added more. Just some of the sauce.
Yeah.
What
do you say? I got 2. I think they falter. The first year. I think the first year they lose in like the semis or the quarters. They get a tough draw. They're gonna get either a Bayern or a Man City.
Yeah, those are 2 teams that get.
And I think they falter. I think Man City's gonna want to get back from this last Champions League. But I do think they end up winning 2, and I do think Mbappe gets his Ballon d'Or. And I think I'm rooting for him because I like him. I want to see him rise to become the truly the best player in the world, like hands down, no questions asked. Because I'm sick of people.
But thinking about it, like now Mbappe's there. Bellingham has no pressure. I mean pressure, but just a play.
Yeah.
And so that's still scary. Like triple team Mbappe. Like you see, have another guy coming back. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun to watch. Even though
it might be boring because they'll be winning 5-0 every game.
Yeah, but I mean, it'll be fun to just to kind of. I mean, it was like fun, like in the same way that a lot of the dominant teams are fun to watch. Even though
first
they're
Clasico is gonna be amazing.
Yeah. And dude, they're playing in like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
They're playing in New York.
I think we talked about this, right?
And it's like, how? Like, I mean, seeing Mbappe is like, yo, I just saw them like 2 weeks ago in the Euros, and now he's already being unveiled to fans. And then they're going to play these friendlies, which he might not be getting huge minutes in, but they're going to be playing. Like, it's crazy, man. The schedules that these guys have are wild, and
they play almost all year.
Yeah, and not nonstop.
And if you're a star, you have to play international tournaments, so you're actually playing all year.
Yeah. Jude Bellingham, look up his minutes. He played 4,000 minutes last year. It's wild.
They get Kylian Mbappe numbers.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap things up. This was fun. We've been solo for the last 3 weeks, but we got some guests coming in, so I'm excited for that. Yeah.
I feel it. Me too.
Keep it tapped in. We'll be here all summer. We'll be all here through the winter as well. This has been another episode of the Urban Pitch Podcast, a beautiful game of life. Thank you for watching. Keep it tapped in with us. We got more things coming, but until then, we're out of here.